December 31st, 2020, and according to mankind's calendar, it is the end of the year. We're almost done. Hello, Fuzzy. Say hello. Oh, yes, you are not having any of it. So, 2020 started off with Trump being impeached over no crime. They couldn't come up with a crime, and so they impeached him anyway. Then we had, and just at the end of 2019, we get this news of some weird shit going on in China and people being locked up. And as the news hits America, as things hit America, people go crazy. First, the government goes crazy, instituting unconstitutional lockdown orders everywhere, based upon faulty science, faulty advice, and no law in the books anywhere. And the crazy thing is, a vast portion of the populace went along with this craziness. Personally, I never wore a mask in a single instance ever. Will not. It's not that it's against my religion. It's not that it's against my health. It's that it's against my freedom. I told them, if anybody ever asked me in a store, I said it's medical. If they pressed it further than that, I said, well, I don't need to tell you. You're not a doctor. I stopped shopping at Walmart because they put in a nationwide mask mandate. And then tonight, yesterday, they tweet out, how he's a sore loser for challenging the election, and proved what side they are on, if you will. We had the most corrupt election anyone has ever seen, because they fielded the most corrupt and least charismatic candidate they possibly could. And now everyone has seen the lengths the Democrats go to every time to stay in power. And it needed to happen. I've been saying for 20 to 30 years. Just look at the poll numbers in Chicago. You don't have to be a genius to realize that 98% turnout in the poorest section of town is insane. You don't have to, go down to one of those polling stations like I did and see them empty to know that 98% turnout is bull. It's a graveyard vote. It's a stuffed ballot box at the end of the night. And nobody cared. If I ever brought it up, people told me I was silly. Why wouldn't the feds prosecute that? If it was happening, why wouldn't the feds prosecute that? Well, we've seen what happens. We've seen it. We've seen the FBI covering it up, the courts throwing out these cases on technicalities, not even addressing any of the actual facts in presentation. We've seen this over and over at every level of the court, including the frickin' Supreme Court. We have a corruption that is so deep in this country. The United States of America is at risk, and Trump has brought it to the head, brought it to a head, and we are either going to get a resolution under the rule of law where Biden does not become president, or we will get a resolution by the populace where Biden is not going to be president. Biden will never sit, will never be sworn in. He will never. It will not happen. He will. Either the Congress will do the right thing, or Biden will have the right thing done to him by the people. Make no mistake, that is what will happen. They've been, stalling every way they could, every stage of every system, in order to try to push it to this date, to push it to January 6th, and it's not going to work. Nobody believes this was an honest election. Not even the sheep following CNN. And we have seen the depth of the deep state corruption. We've seen the depth of and the breadth of the anti freedom people in government. And that's what it is. It's about stopping freedom. It's about tearing apart any semblance of allowing you to live your own life. That's why we have all these licenses for silly things like hairdressers. It's not to protect you. It's to keep you down. That's why we have, here we've got a stupid rule that you have to have a licensed plumber hook up the lines for a dishwasher. That's not to protect you. That's not to keep you safe. That's to keep you down. That's to keep people from making a living by installing dishwashers at a reasonable price. It's the same thing with any license law, including your driver's license, including your doctor's licenses. It's all to keep you down. We've seen hospitals claiming that they are so overworked because of a disease, and at the same time laying off hundreds of frontline workers. These people think that the average American is a moron. I don't think you're a moron. I think you know exactly what's going on. You just can't put it into words, and you're not ready to take the action because you think there is a possibility that we could work this all out. Well, I'll tell you what, they aren't letting you work it all out. They won't let you work it all out because working it out is not in their best interest. Now, on the positive note, Thorcon has pressed forward with their plans in Indonesia. They've got a prototype unit of a molten salt reactor under construction now, due to be finished in a couple of years, and that prototype will give them the knowledge they need to start mass manufacturing, and they have purchases lined up based upon certain performance criteria in the prototype. Thorcon's not breaking too much ground here. A molten salt core is a big change. They're using pot in a can, primary salt heating, secondary salt heating, power working fluid. Fine, don't care. It will be clear that there's no leakage from the secondary into the working fluid, and so there's no need to worry about that secondary loop. And it's fine. Put it in for now. You lose a few degrees of delta T, and but you got delta T to spare. Now, nobody's going for the simplicity of the Schottky advanced nuclear reactor, the simple advanced fast reactor. But that's fine. That's fine. They can. It's better to take your technical risks one at a time and separate them out, and build one step at a time. So that's a positive. And some people are thinking, oh, because Thorcon's doing this, Lifter's not going to make it. And I'm like, no, that's not true. Thorcon doing this clears away one of the technical risks. Shows that a molten salt core can be run at high power for years for production. And that's an important step. When this is a technology that hasn't run for 50 years. There were other positives. More and more people are giving up on government and turning not to the Illuminati, but to the anarchy. They're saying, wait a minute, these idiots don't care about me at all. Why should I follow those idiots? Why should I trust those idiots with anything? Anarchy is getting big. Anarchapulco has grown amazingly. Yeah. Hello there, Jinx. So, to all of you that have survived 2020 and managed to avoid this highly contagious disease with a 99.99% survival rate, more power to you. To all of you who have passed away from coronavirus, in reality, may you rest in peace. To all of you who have been falsely labeled as coronavirus, may you rest in peace too. In any case, all of the suicides this year are a harbinger of things to come. under the New World Order if it was allowed to get in. Peace and joy.